it was a special day, and I was thinking, do I go to the swimming pool or not? Because at noon I was supposed to fly down to Arizona with myself and my wife, and never did make it.
So it was just another day at the pool, business as usual. We're at St. James Civic Center. I was on deck. I was lifeguarding.
Kevin and I opened the pool, and it was a regular routine morning.
I wasn't feeling all that well. But I thought, well, it's just really something passing. But when I got into the pool, I still didn't feel very well, but I just thought, well, I'll just keep swimming until my friend arrived. And I remember stopping just briefly and thinking, okay, maybe I should stop and we'll talk. Friend was just climbing into the lane beside me, and we normally sort of chatted a bit before. But I thought, oh, I'll take one more lap, and I don't remember reaching the other end of the pool.
Just as Arden kind of came onto the pool deck to relieve me, I saw this gentleman. He was swimming laps back and forth, seemed completely fine. And suddenly, as Arden was coming to take me off, I kind of just noticed he stopped on the side of the shallow end, kind of put his arms up and leaned his head back, almost as if looking like he was really tired, but kind of unsure. So I just said to Arden, you know what, I'm just going to go check on this guy just to make sure he's doing all right.
Kevin said, just hold on a minute, I'm just going to go check this out here. So I said, sure. So I just waited there. And I said, just let me know if you need the trauma bag.
Sure enough, I walked over there, tapped him on the shoulders, tried talking to him, and he was completely out. He wasn't breathing, no pulse, nothing. So I called to Arden to grab the first aid kit and the AED. I pulled him out of the pool, and we just immediately started doing CPR right there on the pool deck.
I came out with a trauma bag. I flung the door open to Karen, who I was with probably like 2 minutes ago. I said, call 911. We have a situation.
She was extremely calm and collected, and it sounded like the lifeguards themselves were doing everything that they were trained to do.
Arden hooked him up to the oxygen and got the pads onto the AED. We shocked him, I believe it was 3 times before the paramedics showed up.
I just remember trying not to fall in this pool as he was like laying very close to the edge there.
I remember arriving and noticing right away that there wasn't a lot of room to work.
CPR was already in progress. There was already medical staff on scene. I think I remember that there was an AED already in place. And I can't remember if I was updated before we got there or when we got there, but that the individual had already had multiple shocks, we don't see that very often, which is awesome.
The paramedics then at that point showed up, took over. They worked on him for a little while as we waited at the front desk just to kind of see what was going to come of everything. Eventually the paramedics wheeled him out of there, and he was sitting up in the stretcher. It seemed like he was even talking to them a little bit.
I guess I woke up about 3 or 4 hours later and in St. Boniface. And sort of my wife was there, and I remember coming out of just sort of being conscious. It's the only time. And I remember looking at my wife, and I thought, oh no, I did it to her again. Because this was not the first time that I've had sort of some serious heart problems.
I would love to this day to meet him. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I would just love to see him again. Like the last time I saw him, he was on the pool deck and blue and mechanically not working, right?
I just think it would be really amazing to meet him. A lot of times we don't see what happens to our patients beyond the hospital doors and don't hear of the outcomes afterwards. So especially being his age and the outcome that he had when we got there, I remember him when I was driving talking in the back and just thinking how incredible it was from everything that transpired in the pool to all of a sudden driving and hearing him talk. So it would be really unreal to meet him and see how his life is now. I know that the lifeguards were really the stars of this because it was the early interventions of them that really helped save his life.
Acting the way that those lifeguards did so efficiently and so professionally was something I've never seen before. and they are the reason that this man is alive.
It's amazing anytime there are medically trained people, especially two lifeguards, just the fact that they recognize what they recognize, seeing somebody kind of unconscious or acting abnormally on the edge of a pool, being able to pull them out, the training and the ability to act on that training to get the AED, recognize a cardiac arrest, and start CPR right away. Those are the things that save lives. I mean, before we ever get there, that's the best chance anybody's going to have, is that immediate kind of action.
To see a positive outcome and to listen to the patient and actually get their name and say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so," and then they give it back. They're no longer a patient. They're, just a friend almost at that point. That's so cool.
Yeah, it really brings sort of another chapter for a certain level of closure.
Of course, it had a very, very positive outcome. So I would say, despite, it's understanding that it's our job to take these calls and to stay calm, cool, and collected. But at the end of the day, it sounds like those two lifeguards and everyone else involved were the true heroes of this event.
I just really appreciate sort of this gift of life, and all the individuals who've sort of made it their life, part of their life, of helping individuals.